Hey True Schools, it's Brent here with another time video tutorial. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to get this plus 15 minutes button working, and we're actually going to move the minute hand, which is this red one here. I'll just show you what that looks like. So we're going to get that moving. That's what we're going to do in this tutorial. Alright, if you haven't already, I'd like you to log into your project, pause this video, give you a chance to do that, and we'll get stuck into it. Okay, so this is the clock that I started building in the previous tutorials. You can tell all the colors have changed, and it should be as you see it here. So we're going to get this button here working and this minute hand working through here. So how do we do that? Well, first things first, I'd like you to click on this button down here in our sprites. So you can see it is already selected. If I select the hour hand, that means the hour hand is selected. I'd like you to click the 15-minute one. So what we need to do is we need to let the minute hand know when this button's clicked. So to do that, we would go into this brown events little category here, and I'd like you to press when this sprite is clicked. And that just means that when this sprite is clicked, I want you to do something. So that just means every time I click this sprite, something's going to happen. You'll see if I click the button here, there'll be this like really brief yellow outline that appears. If I do that, didn't really happen, but that happens like that. Okay, so when this sprite's clicked, it happened just then. Cool. So we need to tell the minute hand to do something. So how could we do that? Well, what we're going to do is we're going to broadcast a message. So broadcasting a message is a little bit like morning meeting, when you've got something to say and you want people to hear it. Okay, and all the people at the meeting will hear the message that you have to say. If you're not at morning meeting, you won't know what the person said, and therefore you don't get that message. Alright, so we're just going to broadcast a message, and whoever's listening to it will do some work with it. So, how do we do that? Well, again, you click your events, and we go down all the way down here to broadcast message. So we're going to attach a broadcast message. We're going to change our message, and it's always good to say what you do, to label it or to write what it is actually meant to do. So when the sprite is clicked, we want to add 15 minutes. That's what we want to do, because that is on our 15-minute things, and we can press OK. Alright, so when this sprite is clicked, we're going to add 15 minutes. So again, nothing's happening here. We're just like calling out, sending a message to anybody who's listening. But right now, nobody's listening to our message, so we need to change that. So we're going to go over to our minute hand sprite, and we're going to jump in here. Don't worry about this up here for now. We're just going to focus on listening to this message. So how can we listen to this message? Well, everything's happening in this events category right here. So what you can do is you can scroll down here and you can go when I receive. So this is saying when I hear the message, add 15 minutes, I want to do something. Alright, I'm going to show you, you can change that message to be something else, but we've got our message here, add 15 minutes. So I'm going to put this here. And just to show you that that's actually working, I'm going to just put this in here. So when I click this button, so it's going to say here, when the sprite is clicked, send the message out, add 15 minutes, and now we've got our minute hand listening to that, and you'll see a little call out come out here that says say hello. So let's have a look at that, and there we go. That's exactly what happens. So that's just like me testing to see if actually something works. So I'm going to drag that back in there, and we'll get rid of that call out. Alright, so we know that's working. We're sending out a message to our minute hand to add 15 minutes. But now we need to actually do that. So how can we actually get this hand to move? Well, I've already pre-programmed in the movement of this hand here, so it will go around, because that's a little bit advanced for what we're doing today, and that's all this business up here. But essentially, we know that 15 minutes is that there are 15 little slots here for this this minute hand to get to this number 3 here, because we know that is 15 minutes. Okay, so we need to move this sort of 15 times. So to do that, we're going to go into our control, and we want to do something for 15 times. Okay, we're going to add 15 minutes. All right. You can see up here, I've got two variables, and hopefully you're familiar with variables in the very first video that you watched. If you remember, a variable is just a way to store some stuff. We've got our clock hours, which refers to our hour hand, and it's currently 0. And we've got our clock minutes. We need to change our clock minutes, because at the moment it's just 0, and it's always going to remain there. So we need to change our clock minutes to be 15. And the way that we can do that is by adding this repeat block when we get our message. So we're going to change this clock minutes variable by 1. So let's go to our data. That's where we can find it. And you can see here we can change our clock hours. Well, we don't want to change our hours. We want to change our minutes by 1. Okay. So if I click that button now, this minute hand should hit this 3. And it does. Look at that. That's cool. So every time I click, it moves. How cool is that? I'd like you to go ahead and try and do the exact same thing, but for the other button. So taking away 15 minutes. So you're pretty much going to do every single thing that you just did for the plus 15 minutes, except you're going to take away 15 minutes. So instead of adding 15 minutes, you're going to be removing 15 minutes, okay? So you'll change your message to that, and then you want to change your minutes, your clock minutes by -1, okay? So that's -1. That's what you would want to do to take away your minutes. So why don't you go ahead and try that one, and we'll see how you go, and I'll show you what that looks like in the next tutorial. Till then.